Hello.
Hey,
Yeah, I can hear you now.
hey, good evening.
Yeah, I think it's good morning to you.
Yes, thank you. All right. So I see some text here, some good information. Where would you like to start?
The first picture to the left.
Okay. You play Call of Duty?
I used to. I have Call of Duty Modern Warfare, but then I stopped.
I can tell you play Call of Duty. I saw how long it took for you to set this up.
Now I have Black Ops 4.
You took forever to set up. I was like, what's going on here? Is a Wi-Fi connection? Connecting controllers?
Yeah,
Connecting to the server? Have you played the latest one, the latest Call of Duty game?
no.
You heard about it, right?
Would is it like? Yeah, I have. It came on the PS4 once.
Yeah.
Cold War.
So that is demand. If let's say for Christmas you automatically heard from your friends that there's a new Call of Duty coming out, it's a Christmas edition. That's a demand for a new product in that market of video games. So the market's video games, the product is entertainment, or the field is entertainment, the product's video games. And here, the demand refers to you. You know, you play video games, so it's a coincidence that your network of friends play video games as well. And so that's how you hear about a new product. And that's what creates a demand, a buzz. That does half of the marketing itself. It's just a demand for a product. So I told you those are the factors that affect the demand, such as gossip and value of a product, its effect on the culture. It's important. Now, what's most important, really, it's to you. It's really what's the value that you see in the product. That's what creates the demand. It's not really what everybody else thinks, in a sense. That really only applies to luxuries and things like video games, for example. So kind of a luxury for a young adult your age, because it's like 60 bucks, right? I don't know what it is and where you're at, how much it is to convert, but it's expensive. And normally you have to ask your parents to buy it for you. So you ask your parents to buy you this video game, and you brag to your friends and say, hey, I got the new game, let's play online. You can, it's something more to talk about. It's a luxury in your life. So that is one aspect of demand for products. But what's really most important, aside from luxuries and entertainment, is its value to you as a customer. So if there's a value of a product, whether it meets a demand, such as a service that you need or your business needs that's essential, like a utility, utilities will always have demand because utilities are always a part of life. You have to have water to wash yourself. You have to have um, a form of fire, or propane, or gasoline to heat where you live or to cook food. So utilities are always going to have a demand on the basis of its demand, which is its value to you as a customer. So that's one. That's the most important. Is that? That's what's the most important. Is what it means to you. Usually, you go online and you try to find a product that solves a problem or meets a need that you have. That's a demand. So let's say you run out of textbooks. You're going to go to the nearest store to find a new textbook. That's a demand. Okay, we're going to
Like
move
20
on.
textbooks. So 20 would be the demand.
Whatever you would need for that year would probably, if it's a new semester, you're going back to school, you might need 5 textbooks. All right, let's see what else. We're going to move on to the next one, which is income. All right. All right. So basically, income is in regards to this topic of an increase in demand. It's quality of life. You notice when you get that new video game, or you get those new shoes as a gift, or you get that new gift from your parents, you feel better. You feel happier because your need is met, your demand is met. If you can
Yeah.
go and chat with your friends online or on your phone and say, hey, meet me in a new chat room. We're going to play this new mission on this new map that just came out as DLC. That is something that not everybody can do. Let's say you have a friend that's missing out because he just he's just not in the loop. It's really because there's no money available, or maybe he's on punishment or something. But the point is that there's no money. He can't use that as a resource to be able to participate in that. And so because not everybody can participate in the same level of quality of life that people who can afford have, it becomes something that is based on one's income. So let's say, you just have to save more because you spent more this month or you have more bills. Then the level of money that you can spend to meet these demands are less. Or as a business, let's say you have a lot more expenses because you had to spend more money and resources to provide your service or product to customer, or manufacture products to customers. That means that whatever's left over, it's less to be able to be used. So that's what they mean by income. They say they kind of use income to kind of say that there's different levels of it based on a person. So let's say a person who makes more and has a higher salary each year, which means they make more money at the end of the year, or they make more money per hour or monthly or based on a contract. The more money that person has means the higher quality of life that they have. Because when they get paid, they spend it on, let's say they want to move to a better location where there's a pool or where there's room service, they'll pay more. And it's a higher quality of life because the person has a higher income, or they're just spending more money. That's income. Substitutes and complements are like, let's say you guys have been playing Call of Duty all night and you're looking for a good first person or single player game just for you. If you have money to going back to income, then you can buy yourself a new single player game that only you can play. And so when you're having free time and you want to use your console, You're gonna say, all right, I'm gonna maybe play an hour online on this new Call of Duty map with my friends, text and go back and forth and have a good time. And then maybe when I'm in a, when I'm in a different mood, I'm just gonna want to play by myself. So what game do you have any good single player games?
I don't play single player games. I play multiplayer games.
Only? Okay.
No, I think this Spider-Man, the
Spider-Man's a good
Amazing
single player
Spider.
game.
Yeah,
That's a good game. Yeah, so that Spider-Man complements Call of Duty because your need for entertainment is not only with other people, but it's personal for yourself. So you're gonna spend a certain percentage of your free time that you devote to entertainment on personal game time. So when you do pay money for a game or you do have a game, you're gonna have to have a game that complements the multiplayer game. That's complementary. In business, let's say you have a customer and you sell orange juice or you sell rather no, let's say we'll use something different. Let's say you're selling you have a restaurant. You're running a restaurant and your main product is dinner. So you sell dinner dishes. When your customers come to your restaurant and they wait on average 30 minutes for them to 30 to 40 minutes for them to get served their food, they're not going to go outside generally and just go to a store and grab a beverage because they want to have the beverage complement the dinner. So you as a business restaurant owner, you're going to also sell beverages to your customers to complement your dinner plates. So you're able to sell more than one product, they will complement each other. And in case you're running out on, let's say your main dinner plate is lobster and it's expensive, and so you also buy shrimp to complement it. So in case your lobster runs out, you can still sell a seafood plate, but it's just going to be with shrimp, not lobster. That's a substitute.
yeah.
Let's say you get bored of Spider-Man. There's you have Uncharted or another single player video game that you can play. Or let's say the server's down on Call of Duty and your friends are all sitting there like, what are we going to do? Is another, maybe Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six. And it's another video game that you can play instead of playing Call of Duty. So it kind of complements the experience and your need and your demand. So the demand at the end of the day is these products, substitutes, income, it's all based on demand. Advertising now. Advertising, like I said, it could be word of mouth advertising, it could be internet advertising, it could be knocking on door to door, handing out information, street teams. You've seen people, I don't know if you've gone to a mall before and you see people advertising and trying to get your attention for something. That's a form of advertisement. Companies such as McDonald's, Apple's, and Samsung, they do spend actually more than millions. They spend billions of dollars. I've looked at the SWOT reports for some of these companies, and they spend a lot more money than you think on advertisement. Um, there's a documentary on Netflix called What the Health. It's a very popular documentary. It talks about how much money McDonald's spends on advertising. They spend so much money that they pay celebrities millions of dollars as endorsements to be able to put their face with the product. Because if you're a fan of Steph Curry and Steph Curry comes out with a new meal on the menu at McDonald's, you're going to want to check it out. Then there's government policies. Government policies are a very important part of business. As you get older, you'll start to learn what's the role of government in business. It's a very huge role. It's not just what you read on the paper. So it's not just taxes. It's not just paying the government. It's a huge thing. If you are, and also depends on what field or what type of product or service or market you're in as a business. So let's say you're in the video game market.
Yeah.
it's really just going to be taxes and not much else. It might be one or it's not a lot. On a balance sheet, it's not a lot compared to you have an import business and you're selling oranges, or let's use another fruit. Let's say you're selling or something else. Let's say you're selling caviar, or
Yeah,
you're selling coconuts overseas. Because you're selling it out of your country, you have to pay import rates from your home country and also with your partnership country. And there are such things such as tariffs, which a tariff is just like this. I'm I'm the government of the United States. You're the government. You're importing high quality caviar from India to New Yorkers, and I'm the government of the United States. Now, in order for your product to reach my side, the government, are going to have to impose a tariff, which is a fee that you as an import business have to pay. Now, this tariff is can change. Let's say we're at war, India, United States, but New Yorkers still like caviar. You still could sell your product because there's the demand that's still there. However, I'm going to charge you more or less depending on the strength of our relationship at the time. Okay. Um, it goes deeper than that. And I urge you after this maybe to write it down.
okay.
Tariffs, you can look up tariffs and quotas. I could show you a video on it if you like. Tariffs and quotas.
Give me a second. I'll go get my book and pencil.
Yeah, tariffs and quotas. Um, it's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. Now, also economy. Now, government policies and economy are very closely connected. Now, this economy talks about crises. Now, the role of government is enhanced during a crisis because in times of crisis, we look to superiors, we look for people who are above us and more skilled to help us solve problems that arise. Like if there's an earthquake or a natural disaster, we're going to look to the government, we're going to look for the doctors and nurses, we're going to look for federal or just aid and help at the time, resources, food, things like that. If there's a starvation or a drought, we're going to look for water, we're going to look for food. That's the economic thing. Now, a government's role in that is very important. Now, if let's say you as a business sell water and my country is going through an economic crisis, or rather it's going through famine, the people are starving, there's no food, and there's a drought. You can still sell water to me. You can still stock it in my shelves, but because we really need the water, I might offer you a lower tariff rate. Or let's say we really need the money and you agree to it, we will charge you more as a way to make income in case we actually, as a government, have already spent a lot of money to help the citizens. So we have to make our money back. That's the economy. Also, yeah, economic factors are very important too. Very, very important. It also talks about demand, such as other factors that affect demand. Of course, population does, because population is just like your team. Like if you're the Lakers, you're in California. If you're the New York Knicks, you're in New York. I'm not going to sell a New York product to New York Knicks. Rather, I'm not going to sell a New York product to the Los Angeles Lakers unless it's something that really meets their demand. Otherwise, I'm going to tailor my products to the customer. So I'm going to sell things that they need in New York to the Knicks or what they need, and I'm going to sell the same to the sports players in that area. So it also goes for age. Like let's say you and your friends, your main thing right now is video games. It's extreme sports, and it's social media and entertainment, music, things like that. Social things, things that get you involved in the world around you, right? So if I sell those services or those products or manufacture those products, again, I'm going to go into substituting and complementing based on where you are, like whether you're in New York or Los Angeles. Uh, yeah. Or let's say I'm Muslim, for example, right?
Yeah.
I'm not going to consume products that are not halal. Let's say I'm Jewish. I'm not going to consume products that are not kosher. So that affects demand. So you can clearly say that overall in the Jewish community, there's a higher demand for kosher products than in other communities. At the very least, the Muslim community, because they, instead of kosher, they prefer halal, and vice versa. You can say that the Muslim community prefers halal products over kosher products because that's what they consume as a part of their religious faith. All right, move on. Now, price and demand, very important. There is what's called the, Google this and write this down, the Big Mac Index. It goes back to McDonald's, but it's also important. The Big Mac Index is super important. It explains price and demand. And in a nutshell, where you are in India, if there's a McDonald's everywhere, so I can always find a McDonald's because there is a demand for McDonald's worldwide. But the price that I will pay in New York as opposed to India is not going to be the same due to many factors, economic factors. Such, most importantly, price and demand depends on how much the materials cost that's needed to produce the product that you're selling. So if you're Big Mac and McDonald's that in India, it costs 10 cents to pay for the to get the materials shipped to McDonald's to sell to the customers, right? That's what we're talking about. So let's say I'm in India and I'm selling Big Macs. And, the patties, the meat buns from the factory cost 10 cents per patty. The lettuce costs 2 cents. The cheese costs 8 cents or 6 cents. Overall, it cost me $6 to produce that product, that Big Mac. And I'm going to sell it to my customers for $44, right? Now, on the other hand, in New York, it might be different. We're still going to sell the Big Mac. It's going to look and taste the same. It's going to be the same product. However, the cost will be different. In this case, the cost is different because in New York, unlike India, we have to pay, as opposed to 2 cents for the patty, we're going to pay 6 cents. As opposed to 6 cents for the cheese, we're going to pay 44 cents. And so overall, it costs more to produce the product, so we're going to have to sell it at a higher price in this country or in this location as opposed to the other, right? So price and demand doesn't just change by circumstances like, oh, today the guy's selling the product at a higher price. What's his problem? It's not just that. Sometimes it might be a personal reason. The guy just might be a mean person. But generally speaking, it's not dependent upon the person. Really, it's about the business. If the business owner at the end of the day, remember, it was going back to what we talked about the other day. Let's say I close my business and I look at my receipts, look at my statements, look at how much money I spent versus how much I made. And I learned that I've spent more. I provided the same services to my customers. Tomorrow, I'm going to have to decide if I want to make a profit in the business, because that's the number one goal in business is profit. I'm going to have to think about how am I going to make more profit if I'm paying more. So I'm going to have to sell it at a higher price. That's one instance. So what drives that change is the guy says, the owner, the customer, business owner, or you say, hey, listen, I'm paying a lot more to sell this Big Mac. more than I paid last month. That's because I'm paying more to for the ingredients to make the sandwich. So I'm gonna have to charge more unless the prices for the ingredients go down. So that's what influences price and demand. Okay, and what you see here on this chart are the changes based on price and quantity demanded. So in this situation, this graph, there are many graphs for price and demand, but this one in particular is talking about the demand of the customers, right? There's always a
Quantity.
demand. There's always a demand for a Big Mac everywhere. But if you put Steph Curry next to a Big Mac, you're going to get more customers. You're going to get more of a demand. Okay. So you see here as the curve shifts higher in favor of quantity demanded based on the customer, you see here also the price will go up. Okay.
Can you explain the last bit again?
All right. So price versus quantity. You see here, P1 talks about the quantity demanded, it rises. I'm going to share my screen with you so you know what I'm talking
Doesn't it
about.
decrease from P2? There's more demand, and then P1 there's going to be less demand.
So P1 and P2, excuse me, I have mosquitoes in here. Let's say the demand, you see, as the demand increases, right?
Yeah.
Right, it increases. But what you see here is a price decreasing. So price and quantity, right? That's correct. Like if you're a shiesty business owner, it's not going to matter. You're gonna charge a higher price. However, generally, I stand corrected. You're going to do a sale. I was going to tell you that, but I decided not to. You have a sale, right? Let's say you have a excuse me. Let's go back to the Big Mac index, right? You have this product you have to sell. This mosquito, what is it? I'm trying to ignore the mosquito. All right. So you have a Big Mac. The customers are coming out because you have Steph Curry, who's the face of the NBA, or you have LeBron James. I'm quite sure you heard of this Saweetie McDonald's meal. She's a huge hip hop star. She used to date one of the Migos, and all of a sudden they break up. She's still releasing music, and she's now doing a partnership with McDonald's. So all of her fans are now trying to see what the Saweetie deal is. Now, the price and demand isn't based on quantity. It's based on how much it costs to produce those ingredients for that promotion. So if the price of the ingredients to produce the Big Mac or the ingredients for the Saweetie meal or whatever we're talking about goes up, then the price goes up. It's not the demand. This is just one example of factors that affect the price. Demand is one thing. So you have to separate those two things. So look up the Big Mac index. That's the main thing, right? And that deals with production. Okay, production is what affects really price. But if we're talking about demand, demand is a different topic, but it's related and it's correlated. All right, hope I'm not confusing you. It does confuse people at first, but if you actually, I'll show you a video on the Big Mac index. You'll understand what I'm talking about. I'm gonna show you. I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about.
Okay.
All All right, this is a good one. I like Investopedia. I recommend looking at Investopedia for all your investing questions. All right. I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna share the screen so you see what I'm talking about. Let's see if it comes up. Come on. All right, this should work. Sharing the screen. Let's see. All right, perfect. All right. Big Mac Index is very important. It's a core principle of economics and finance. Let's see if they're going to show the video here. Come on now. Oh, here we go. All right. Just disregard the ad. It's going to be an advertisement. I'll stop sharing it when the video loads. Big Mac is really important. In the graph in your book, it's basically stating that one way that demand affects price is the quantity of people interested. If you are offering a similar product than a competitor in a business, and you are offering a sale, a promotion, or through advertisement, are able to increase the quantity of the demand due to more people being interested in it, then the rule of business is to offer it at a lower price or at a cheaper price. A cheaper price than your competitor or at a cheaper price than your other products that you have for sale. Okay? That's just because people are saying, generally the idea is, if you say it's a sale tactic. So if you're a customer and you say, oh, you guys have Big Macs? Oh, you guys, it's not called Big Macs, it's called McDowell's. It's a competitor of McDonald's. You guys have, it looks just like a Big Mac and it's cheaper. And you have a celebrity endorsing your product. And I'm a fan of stuff. I'm a fan of the celebrity. I'm gonna want to buy it. I'm gonna want to go there. I'm not even gonna think about McDonald's at that point. Oh, let's not say McDonald's. I'm not gonna think about the competitor at that point. McDonald's is a household name. I'm not going anywhere. Now I'm going to go back to the screen. I'm going to show you what the video is. So that's the concept that is teaching there in the graph. But the main concept I want you to understand is the Big Mac Index. The Big Mac Index is what you need to know about price and demand. Let me get to here. Can you hear it? Let me see if I can share the sound. I'm gonna stop and share it. Let me share the sound. Big Mac Index. All right, here it goes.
The Big Mac Index has been published annually by The Economist magazine since 1986 as an informal way to measure the values of currencies around the world against the US dollar. The index is based on the theory of purchasing power parity, PPP, which states that exchange rates should eventually, in the long run, adjust to make a basket of goods in one country cost the same amount as the same market basket of goods in a different country.
So what that means is, if I'm selling a Big Mac in New York, in your town, the prices should be close or relative or somewhere nearby. Like, you shouldn't pay $50 you shouldn't pay $44 for a Big Mac where you're at, and I pay $6 for a Big Mac where I'm at. That's what this is saying.
The Economist came up with an item that is sold in nearly identical form in about 120 countries. It is McDonald's Big Mac hamburger. With few exceptions, the ingredients of the Big Mac are the same around the globe, and on that basis, it serves as a convenient market basket of goods. The Big Mac Index is calculated by dividing the local price of a Big Mac in one country, say China, by the local price of a Big Mac in another country, say the US, in their respective currencies. The resulting value is the Big Mac Index. When compared to the official exchange, the index reflects which currencies are under or overvalued. For example, the Big Mac Index released in January 2014 showed that a Big Mac is sold in China for 9.84 yuan and in the US for $2.74, which implies that the exchange rate, Big Mac Index, should be 3.59 yuan for $1. But the actual exchange rate at that time was 6.05 yuan for $1. Thus, the Big Mac Index suggests that the yuan is undervalued by 40%. While the Big Mac Index is not flawless, it gives a good estimate of future exchange rate movements and real change of the rate of inflation, and it's been useful for countries where reliable price indices are not available.
All right. Any questions? Any questions about the video?
Mm, So if you have a Big Mac in the US that costs $3 and I have a Big Mac in my country that costs 300 rupees, which is like $2, which is like, no, I mean like $3.15. So then I have to divide both of them together.
What's your question?
Okay, so in the video it said you should divide. So in my country, a Big Mac costs, I think maybe $3.15, and in your country it costs $3. So do I have to divide that, and then I'll get the index, Big Mac index?
Right. And so the index, you want it as close to 1 as possible. Because
So
anything
would it
divided
be
by anything that equals 1 means it's equal, which means that if it's $4 here and it's $4 where you're at, or if 300 rupees is as close to $4 as it gets, then if it equals 1, then that means that it's honoring the Big Mac index. However, we know that in today's world, that's not always the case. So although the Big Mac index is the accepted rule in the world, businesses don't generally follow that. So that's what I want you to understand. That right now, the way we're taught in business is a guideline. The things you learn in your textbook is a guideline. They're the things you'll hear from me and learn from me are the foundation that you need. What you'll get from me is what you get from anywhere else, except what I'll tell you is, I'll tell you what the way that you need to be able to take the information and how you apply it based on my experience and based on the events that have happened in my life and how I've applied my education to business. Okay, so in this case, yes, the Big Mac index, it's supposed to equal 1. That means that there's honesty and there's generally equality in the world, but there's problems in the world, so it's not always that case. What affects that Big Mac index is the price that both places pay for the ingredients to create the Big Mac. So you want it to equal 1, you want 300 rupees to equal $2, and you want to pay that both places, you want that to be equal. But due to the economy and due to capitalism, due to tariffs, due to expenses, due to production, due to world prices and so many things that affect, as we've talked about so far in all our lessons, a lot of things affect the economy. That affects the price of the ingredients. So if it costs more at the end of the day to produce that product, you as a business owner are going to say, I'm going to charge more. And if you have more customers, you're going to charge less. You're going to have sales because you want to make more sales. So you're going to charge less. Okay. We're going to go to the next topic. Individual demand and market demand.
I got disconnected.
Hmm? All right, so what did you last hear?
I'm
Hello?
not really sure. It was really lagging.
Okay, well, it's
I
all right.
think you were saying something like the index has to be close to 1 or it's not good
You're right. You
or
in
something like that.
business, the rule of this concept. See, what I'm going to do is you have to understand the textbook, the lessons for me, these are concepts. You need concepts to pass the exam. So you understand the concept, but in the real world, you take the concept and you apply it and adjust it to reality. The concept here, you notice sometimes the conflicts don't match up. You hear in the book, price and demand is based on quantity. But you hear from me that it's based on the price of the ingredients to produce the service or the product. Okay? The most correct answer is me, is the ingredients. Because if you have a lot of customers, that may affect the price. You might say, yeah, I'll make a sale, so I'll lower the price. But what if you have more customers and it costs more money to produce the products to sell to the customers? You're going to have to charge more in order to make a profit. That's basically what I'm saying. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So the next thing is what's called market demand. Market demand is like you saying, instead of looking at how much you made and how much you spent to make at the end of each day, you hire an accountant. And at the end of each quarter or month, you say, wow, okay, we spent this much, we've made this much. How do we make more profit, or how do we reduce expenses? You come to that conclusion based on how much you sell on a daily basis or on that in that time period. So the market demand is you as a business saying, okay, we sell 6 oranges, we sell 6 coconuts, or 6 cases of caviar, or 6 dinner plates each day. We sell 6 products each day. We have 44 customers that come each week. Okay.
Okay.
So let's do the math here. 44 times 6 is how much?
I'm not sure.
No, let's do it.
Is it 264? Is it 264?
Yes, that's correct. 264. So your market, let's go back to the text here. It says in your text that the demand for the cinema is 10 cents per ticket. It's therefore 900 tickets per week. So let's say you sell $264 worth of the product to people in New York. But what about the California customers? Okay, so now you're going to say, all right, it's the same demand in California as it is in New York. We have 6 customers that come to our California location, and per day, and that's 44 per week. We sell at $6. We get 44 customers per week. That's 264, right?
Might.
Right. Or that's 264
Yeah.
customer products that we sell. So you say, okay, in New York, we sell 264 products per week. In California, we sell 264 products per week, right? Our market demand for that product doesn't just include one location or one type of customer. It includes the whole picture. So 264 plus 264 is what? That's 500. No, that's, yeah, 528, right? Let's do a check here. Yeah, 528. All right. Hello.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yes.
All right. So I'm just going to review what we covered here in the market, everything, right? So just going back, we talked about the factors that influence demand. We covered what demand is. We talked about the Big Mac Index. Now here we're talking about the market demand. In the market demand, we have to consider everybody, not just one group of a customer or one type of a customer. When you have a
Everyone who's a
business,
customer.
let's say you have a business online compared to having a business in store. When you're running a business and you're there every day in the store, you see all your customers. You see, oh, there's one, they're skinny, there's one that's overweight, there's one that's white, there's one that's black, there's one that's Asian, there's one that's Indian, there's one, that's young, there's one that's old. So you classify your customers based on the group that they belong in. But when you calculate the demand, you can't look at everybody like that. You have to look at everything, okay? Because a person who is of a different race or background or group might like the same product, okay? So you have to, at the end of the day, you do say, okay, well, I'm selling 50 pieces of product A to the Jewish group of customers, and I'm selling 66 group of product B to the Islamic group of customers, okay? And I sell it at $6 per product. Now, the product's price is the same because it's the same product, $6, but the groups are different. One is Jewish, one is Islamic, right? So when we calculate the market demand for that product, the market demand is this. It's $6 for 166 customers in total. So we're selling $6 of product A and B to both groups. So we're going to be selling $6 product.
I'm really lagging. I can't hear you properly.
Yeah, okay. Market demand is you selling a product at a price and you trying to figure out how much of that product you're selling in that given period. Does that make sense?
I can't really hear you. I'm lagging too hard for today. So it's
Lagging?
really hard to understand.
All
Like I really can't. It's my Wi-Fi is really bad.
right. Do you want to just continue this tomorrow?
Yeah, I can't even hear you properly.
All right. Well, tomorrow's another day. Okay.
It starts freezing and stuff. Yeah, can we continue tomorrow?
All right. No problem.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye bye.